Welcome back to the Success Blueprint with Ray Peterson. I'm glad to have you all here. Today we have Justin Christensen here, which we're grateful for him stopping by and being with us today. I'll read a little bit of his bio. 17 years in the industry, in the insurance industry. Wow, that's a decent amount of time for sure. Owner of Guardian Insurance, an entrepreneur, passionate entrepreneur. I love that. Owned multiple businesses in the past, hosted a podcast. Obviously enjoy coaching football, dedicated dad to 3 kids. That's probably the most important one, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's the funnest one.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it looks like, and you and Morgan have known each other for just a little bit of time.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was like 12, 13. I mean, we grew up together, so.
Right. Because
Yeah.
Yep. Grade school, and then kind of as we got older, then started being around each other more in sports and things like that.
Yeah. Because you're a grade older than me.
Yeah.
So that made I don't know, I think when I was freshman or something like that, then we really started, like once we hit high school, then everybody kind of like started hanging out and that little gang came together with us. So.
Yeah, earlier than that, it's like, okay, a grade older is a lot. Like that's a big difference, right?
For sure.
Once you get to high school, it becomes closer and closer.
Yeah, and we come from such a small community anyway. I mean, I think his mom was like my computer teacher when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade or whatever.
Oh, wow.
She would fill in a little bit there.
Oh, really?
At the elementary school, yeah.
Well, right on.
And so we already had kind of a good connection that way. And then, yeah, I mean, geez, we've been best of friends for the longest time, all through high school. Some
awesome.
Wild stories. In fact, I learned a lot of like success and kind of what to be looking for in life from his dad, Ray.
Yeah.
He was such a awesome dude because he would take, like when we'd come hang out at the house or whatever, he would just take, I don't know, he'd kind of take you underneath your wing, so to speak, where he's always giving you like these little tidbits, like all the time.
That's awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
at the time you probably didn't even realize it.
yeah, but we all kind of looked up to him. We saw how successful he was and his story of, you know, kind of starting from nothing and building an empire.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, that's so motivating, you know? And when we come from a small town, like opportunity is something that you have to really search and find.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise you kind of just get caught in the, hey, like just pay your bills, go do the 9 to 5.
Go
you
work
know what
construction.
I mean?
Go.
Just do what's
stay on the
expected.
farm, help out here, which are all great things.
Right.
You know, there's a great qualities there. But as far as like trying to experience other things in life and maybe find like what your niche is or what you're good at or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, it's a little bit difficult in a smaller town.
There wasn't the ideas, I guess, it seemed like in front of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you didn't really have the imagination or even like bigger schools or, you know, when you get older, you'd see all these cool little niches that everybody's doing that you're like, oh, wow.
Right.
That guy did this and made this awesome. And that guy did that. And that guy had this idea. But back then, I guess you didn't really understand of where you could even start for any of that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that made that made my journey so much more meaningful. Because I felt like the ceiling was kind of already created. You know, like I came from a single mom with 3 kids. So like the ceiling was there to where like, hey, just graduate high school and that's going to be legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Graduate high school, get a decent job, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Pay your bills. You're
Pay
fine.
your bills, just kind of do that mundane thing. And man, I don't know. I feel so blessed to have met certain people at a young age that really helped me envision something else for my life.
Yeah.
You know, and Morgan's actually Morgan and his dad are huge parts of that because, you know, what really jump-started my career into the service industry and into sales and business. Well, let me back up. I remember we cruised down to Idaho Falls one day. I went with Morgan and his dad, and all I was hearing was mutual funds. Like I had no idea what that was.
Like, what is that? Yeah.
Yeah, but what was cool is that Ray was always teaching Morgan like about investing, mutual funds, and so I was kind of like a backdrop to that.
Nice.
And so that's where at 13, 14 is when I started hearing about investments and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when you see somebody that's talking about that and you see their success, you can't help but like just kind of download that data and be like, oh, this is kind of interesting, you know? And so for me, like I would have never got that. My parents were completely different than that. You know what I mean? And so I had no understanding really how money worked or how you can compound it or things like that. And so
sounds like your mom was just trying to take care of you guys, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. And
yeah.
then, I mean, she married my stepdad and he's, you know, kind of like a hardcore rancher type guy and very successful in what he's accomplished in his life. And what that bred for me was just was that blue collar work ethic. And so coming from a small town, growing up on a ranch, you learn to work and you learn how to figure things out. And you really don't stop something until you figured it out because the resources are limited.
Makes sense.
You know, you have to really be thinking.
Yeah.
And so having a grandpa and a dad that is very innovative and can kind of engineer different things on the fly, like that's a huge quality that I'm so glad that I learned. But what I was able to do for me is to take kind of that blue collar work mentality and then bleed it into a white collar profession. And so I'm kind of like this hybrid of, you could see me, you know, herding cattle one day, and then you see me in a suit the next day. And for me, that's just helped. I feel like it's just made me so universal to be able to reach different people when it comes to like networking or businesses or having conversations or whatever. But just that understanding as well of like, hey, just apply yourself with this hard work into these, you know, different professions, and man, you can be so successful. You know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's pretty cool. It seems like Ray was a pretty amazing man. And so I hear so many stories of just how many people he affected and how many people he touched in his life. And he left a huge legacy, which is amazing. And I only knew him for a few years. But I mean, even with me, like huge impact, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those people, and it's cool to have those people in your life. And sometimes you don't even realize it until after the fact or until later on, and you look back on it of how impactful they were in your life. But yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
When you talk about the mutual fund things, it's I don't think people realize that that's really how we grew up. Like it's, I mean, especially me, that like it was just this knowledge thing that's to a fault. Sometimes that's all we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Is how to get your money working for you, and what are you doing, and where are you investing, and how are you saving, and you know, and where did you buy that? It better not have been on credit, and all these different things. That you share that story, and then you share that, you know, just a few years. So when he passed away, I mean, I remember coming in the office being like, my gosh, like he's freaking on me for this and this and this and this, you know, and I've got to get this and this and this. And I bought this, and now he's, you know, on me that the interest is going to be this, and I got to get my closing. And it was just like, he was pretty hardcore when it came to that.
It's true.
And so it's kind of funny that's where, I mean, I guess that's where it comes just to second nature. Really, as terrible as it may sound, is almost a religion, because like there's just different things. Buy a watch, buy a car I don't need. Like, I mean, I get buyer's remorse that I break out in sweats and I think of different... Oh, I do.
I know you lie awake at night sometimes and just think, oh man, what did I just do?
My dad and Dave Ramsey would be so pissed.
Oh man.
But anyway, yeah, it's awesome, and I'm glad that you were able to pick up on a lot of that stuff, because I mean it's really been, for me, that anything I've been able to do, I can easily do the genealogy and go right up to that real quick of a lesson or where I learned it from or whatnot. But so Justin, 17 years. Why did you pick insurance?
Man, I don't know if I picked it. It's kind of like when you go to TJ Maxx, like it kind of picks you. You know what I mean?
I guess I need to go to TJ Maxx with you, because that's never happened.
Man, it just, you don't know what you're going to buy. It just tells you what you're going to buy. And next thing you know, you got a full cart of random stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I mean, I didn't really have intentions to that. It's not something that's like, hey, I want to grow up and be an insurance agent. I had a lot of different things that I wanted to do. But I was kind of forced into it. I was, just to back up a little bit. So Morgan and I, when I graduated high school, there was an opportunity to go do a sales job in Southern Utah. And man, that really lit a fire because I didn't really understand sales. I didn't know what it was, nothing. Yeah. And so again, just relying on, friends and support and stuff like that, I took the risk and jumped with Morgan. I had a truck that I sold for $800 and sold that. And that's all the money that I had to go down there. Wow. And so, our resources were a little limited when we went down there originally. We had a little camper on like a cement pad out in Hurricane that's what we slept in. And back then Hurricane was nothing like it is now. It's gorgeous now. But I mean, we went down there May, June or something like that.
It was July.
So
And
hot.
it was my grandma's camper. Yep. And to paint this picture, it was already down there. And, I sold my truck, and my dad was supposed to go to an auction and get me this friggin' awesome Mitsubishi Diamante.
Wow.
Specific.
A Diamante.
He came back with a green Mercury Sable with a green on green interior.
That's awesome.
And as Justin and I are loaded up and driving down there, and he'd say, "It's fine. It'll get you down there, and we'll switch it out." And I drove that thing for a year. And as we pull into St. George, the AC goes out. It's
nice.
July.
Nice.
And so we would go to work and would go back to the camper.
And I'm sure the camper didn't have AC.
Well, the camper AC went out as well.
Yeah.
And so then it was going back and forth, and we looked forward to cold showers. And we would, speaking of TJ Maxx, we would leave the office, and it was either TJ Maxx had the coldest AC, so we'd just go sit in their furniture at lunch hour.
Just hang out.
And hang out,
so
and
funny.
then we would drive back to work. But it is kind of funny how that was. And I remember saying, Dad, we're like, we got to fix this AC. And he was like, you just got to make some money, and then you can, it's $200, just make some money, fix it. And it sucked.
It was brutal. I remember the first 2 weeks down there. I mean, I was like sick just from the heat. It's midnight. It's like 98 degrees. And you're like, oh, bro, this is gnarly.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, that was like my first time ever like leaving Idaho.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I was 18 years old. Yeah. I never ventured out very far at all. But what was really exciting is that we went to work, and completely foreign to me. But what I realized is that I had a knack for this. We started out doing some telemarketing stuff, and back then that was kind of like, it was really popular in that area.
Yeah.
But just making those cold calls and talking to people, and I didn't even really know what we were selling, honestly. It was just like, hey, just set the appointment, you know what I mean? So it taught me, I mean, I was 18, I was super naive, didn't know much about it, but I remember getting a commission check, and I was like, this is legit? Like that comma is that a comma? Yeah. Like I got a comma in my paycheck. Like this is weird. And it was for a week's worth of work. And so to me, I was like, wow, like this is crazy. This is something that could be, kind of like, I don't know. I guess I was so used to putting like hands on things to make a living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What did you make or build or change?
Yeah. I mean, I went from like framing houses to changing irrigation pipe to whatever, so that very blue collar thing. So this was all foreign to me. And I was just like, oh, wow, this is how you could be making a lot of money. Well, that's not really, I don't know. At that time, that was kind of the mindset. Just make money so we had a place to live. I could have food. I could prove to like parents and people that I left, that AC, that, hey, I can make it out on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that kind of like just sparked an interest to me about like business and, kind of effort equals a certain outcome, and you don't really have a boss. So you're really just dependent on what are you willing to do for yourself. And man, without that, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at, to be honest with you. We were listening to all sorts of different stuff, like the successful tapes, the Tony Robbins, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, the
John Maxwell.
all that
Dale
stuff.
Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie, all that stuff. And I think that's where me and Morgan really connected.
Okay.
Honestly, more than any of our other friends, is that we both started loving that self-development and the business side of things. And we're like, oh man, this is really cool. And so we kind of just geeked off of that with each other. And so honestly, if we wouldn't have crossed paths, I probably wouldn't have been where I'm at now, to be honest with you. So
was it just the two of you that went down, or were there more that went down with you?
It's just the two.
us.
Just the two of you.
Yeah, it was just the two of us, just trying to figure out life.
And I can't remember if maybe how it happened, because for me it was pretty fast, and I don't know if you like broadcast it and see who else to go, but
Please,
I remember
We didn't have social media back then.
yeah,
so
I
we
think I
weren't
just asked
broadcasting
you
anything.
and
It
said,
was
"Hey, I'm going to move down here. This is a pretty good gig," and I think you're like, "Yeah, I don't really got anything going like here either, so we'll go try it."
Let's go try it. Let's go venture out.
Yeah.
And I think like for any young person that's listening to this now, I think that's a key thing, is that like you need to venture out a little bit to kind of find out who you are and what you're made of, get outside of the mom and dad bubble or whatever, and really just get out there and kind of fall on your face.
Yeah.
Because I think we all agree that like the adversity that you face is what's going to make who you are as like a man. When you start getting comfortable in your own skin, you start having a family, you get married, like you remember these failures that you had. And for me, I can always lean back on that. I can always think, man, I've survived my worst day. Like I'm here right now on this podcast.
Yeah.
I've had some dark days, and I've survived every one of them.
Yeah.
So to me, it just gives me the realization that like I am a lot more capable than maybe sometimes that I'll give myself credit for.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think everybody has to go through those really difficult times, as you said, to become stronger and better and that. And it seems like any self-made person or anyone who's been really successful has gone through those difficult times. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's almost, you feel lucky that you went through them earlier on.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been difficult times between then and now, but it sounds like a lot of those difficult times were earlier on versus
Having
later
3
on,
kids
when
or
you
having-
have a family and then you're pulling all of them with you through your dark days, right? And so,
But I think that's where you also get the experience, right?
yeah.
Is like you put yourself in dark times, especially if you're going to be self-employed, whether it's self-employed doing blue collar things or self-employed doing white collar things, like whatever it is, you have to be able to solve problems, and you have to be able to solve your own problems and do the things that are going to solve them, right? So if something comes up in our business, I mean, no one's going to do it. It's you and I that we have to figure it out and solve that problem. And the more problems that you can solve early on, going down, living by yourself, like no mom, no dad, no girlfriends, you have to make friends, you have to learn things, you have to, do those things. To me, I mean, I think that helped a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what, I mean, people kind of, I think sometimes you hear people bagging on kind of the younger generations, millennials or Z or whatever it is, right? You can say, oh, they don't problem solve, they don't do that, but that's our fault, right? That's the people who are raising them's fault because we were trying to do everything for them. Yeah. And so are we taking them through things where they're helping them to solve things themselves, or are we just doing it for them every single time? And then they get in the world and they're like, what do I do? Because they haven't had to do any of that, right? So it's not their fault and not all of them are like that, of course, but there is kind of that stereotype of that, but it's not their fault. Right. It's the way they were raised, right?
See, honestly, and I think it applies to adults now.
Right.
True.
Like, I don't know, man. I don't like the idea of making life easier for everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I mean, from AI to this Amazon world that we live in.
Right.
It drives me absolutely.
The convenience.
It drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
We've created a society and a ecosystem of laziness and entitlement. And so, when I was asked to come on the podcast, and I was kind of thinking about the success blueprint and stuff. And honestly, I think now more than ever, it's so much easier to be successful at however we want to describe success. It's so subjective, right?
Yep.
I feel like today's world is so much more easy to do that. So some people might argue, well, it's, they're so inundated and this and that, but it's the lack of effort. It's the lack of convenience. It's the distractions that everybody has. I literally watch people just look at their phone and they're watching reels and they're watching other people be successful. And then it motivates them. Like I get motivated on my phone. But what happens is I think society and just the systems that have been in place or set up, I think it's stilling our discipline and our lack of purpose.
Yeah.
And I think those two things then just breed anxiety. They breed stress.
Yep.
You're always comparing your situation to seeing something out there. So now the way that we do things now, like it's just so easy. It's easy to see like the divorce rates and the crazy stuff that's going on. I think a lot of that is we've just kind of stepped on our own tail, so to speak. So we can call it like innovative, and it's really helped us reach a large audience, but
when you talk about that's what I'm like, motivation without action is just entertainment.
Yeah.
And now we have these phones that you're looking at, these short reels that are made to just capture you, right? Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I feel like now all you got to do is have a little bit of discipline and take some massive action, and you're going to exceed 80-90% of your competition. We see it right now in real estate, right? Yeah. Like there's so many people sitting not doing, and we're like, if all you do is just do and just take action, you will be further than 90% of most people in your industry.
I agree. I tell my kids all the time, it's so easy to be a savage nowadays because 90% of the kids are not doing it. It's like Coach Tomlin says, I know so many people that are capable. I know very few that are willing. And to me, that hits home. It's like, there's, that's an abundance in our society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what happens is when someone doesn't experience success, I feel like instead of looking internally or looking in the mirror and like really breaking that down and understanding themselves better, they'll tend to just finger point. It's like, oh, it's this brokerage. That's why I'm not successful.
Oh, 100%.
It's this guy that I'm not successful, or it's my spouse not being supportive.
Instead of the common denominator. So when somebody wants to come join us, and Jason and I sit down, and they're like, "Well, I was here, and then this and this and this happened, and then this and this and this and this happened," and we're like, "Okay, yeah, tell us more." And then and then this and this and this happened, and so pretty soon they start ratting themselves out without even knowing it, because we're like, obviously it's the common denominator. There's no way that all 15 of these groups or people or whatever were completely wrong.
Right.
And where we struggle with sometimes, and maybe you see it, where you're at too, is I struggle because I look at everybody and I'm like, man, you're fully capable. You want to come join our real estate team? And they're like, yeah. And so I see all this potential, and then there's just a lack of a lack of action. And we're like,
the know-how nowadays is
we're so high. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with YouTube, Twitter, like everybody's sharing knowledge.
AI,
like we're sharing
everything.
knowledge right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we didn't have that growing up.
Right.
Yeah.
I was depending on the Ray Petersons of the world, and like books and stuff. But the nice thing is the answers have always been there. I mean, for centuries, the answers have always been there.
Right.
But it's like, are you willing to apply yourself and to go find those?
Yeah.
But then like finding who you are, that was a big breakthrough for me. Is I was like trying to be all these things, and I have ADHD, and so I'm just kind of like do. And it took me a while to really understand like who I was, what are my talents, what are my weaknesses? Like that's the biggest thing. Like I'm a sprinter when it comes to like discipline. Like I'll discipline hard for 30 days. And then I just like, I could be a couch potato for the next 7.
At least you got 30 days.
But isn't that the,
I mean, that's a lot of people, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Or just like, because life kind of wears you out, and you don't really like to have that endurance mentally is a skill that you learn.
Right.
Yep.
I used to only be able to sprint for 2 days, and then I would be 10 days of just kind of mediocre.
But like Jason says too, if you're just consistent,
Yes.
and so maybe it's not a sprint, and maybe it's just a solid jog
Yeah.
So that's all you do
The whole
time.
analogy, like the turtle wins the race.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I heard a thing on, I don't know, you never know if these are true, but Carl Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Awesome sprinter. And they were saying like 80% of his races, I think he won at the time back in like the 84 Olympics, he'd won more golds than anyone, right? And that, and they were saying that at the first 40 yards and the 100 yards, he was almost last almost every race. They said everyone else, the last half of the race, everyone tensed up and like tried so hard that it actually slowed them down.
Yeah. What's
Whereas
your
he
pace?
just kept the exact same motion, very fluid, very relaxed, shoulders relaxed, and that's when he just started flying by everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's so hard. Sometimes we just grit our teeth and just want to get to it.
Yeah.
But that can really hold us back and slow us down, right?
Right.
I think a lot of it stems from, and I'm just going to speak for myself, is that the reason why I do that is because do you ever get that feeling where you feel misaligned because you feel like your effort isn't meeting your expectation?
Yeah.
And that causes kind of that internal frustration. And it can cause you to like come into the office and like really bust out some projects or whatever, right? Or like you got the procrastination at home or whatever, and you got like 14 projects, and then you just, holy crap, I just busted those out on a weekend. They've been sitting there for 6 months.
Right.
So I think you got to realize that is it doesn't take as much as you think it does.
Right.
True.
You know, like if you I've been doing these little challenges in our household with my kids, and just to help me, like, just like anything we grew up playing sports, right? And so you practice to get better and things like that. But like, how do you really do that in life? How do I do that in business? How do I do that to, become a better person or whatever? And so we set up these little mini challenges. It has to be a minimum of 3 days, but you have to do it consistent. So a recent one I did was track everything that I ate for 5 days in a row. My ADHD brain, that was a problem. A problem, man. I was like, I know this is a challenge for me. This is going to be brutal. But I did it. I was weighing my food. I was tracking the macros. And what was nice about it is I'm just like, shit, I don't want to track anything else, so I'm not going to eat as much. And next thing you know, you start dropping a few pounds because I'm like, the more I eat, the more I got to track. Yeah. So I'm like, there is evidence to tracking your food, man.
The easiest calorie to burn is the one that you don't eat, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's little challenges like that. It could be like I have this year challenge. This is a bigger one, but to read the Bible from first page to last page.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge thing. And so I have to set up little times where I can just pick it up for 10 minutes, here and there. And it just kind of bites off those little chunks of it.
Sure.
But yeah, the little mini challenges, and like for the kids, like, hey, maybe it's brushing your teeth like morning and night for 3 days in a row. Maybe it is, saying your prayers for 3 days in a row. Yeah. Maybe it's making your bed or whatever. But like just those little things, if you give like just like little slivers of challenges, I feel like that starts creating that compound interest of like, because you need those mental wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, because that feels good. That just punches the dopamine, and you earned the dopamine. It wasn't given to you. And that little thing right there creates that discipline. And it kind of goes back to the whole capable and willing stuff that we were discussing. Because there's so many of us that have the talent to do something. And I'm not a real estate agent, but it's very similar to an insurance agent, is you have 0 clients. You start from scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you going to go make yourself? Well, I've done it for 17 years and made it very successful, and then have my own company now, right? And so those challenges along the way have been monumental in my growth.
What's some of the challenges that you've seen that you feel like you've experienced, or that, that helps shape, I guess, who you are or the way that you run your business?
Yeah. So I would say the biggest one for me was, I felt like I was constantly reinventing myself. And I think it's a good thing to do, honestly, because I'm changing all the time. I get new ideas, I get new perspectives. I try not to plant my heels too hard in anything, because I want to be able to think on my feet and like not be enslaved to my thoughts.
Right.
I want to be able to have that freedom. There's a lot of outside things that motivated me too. You know, when I started, I was 20, I just turned 24. And, you know, I met a girl and we ended up getting pregnant, and I was like, well, that's kind of a surprise. I just started this business, you know? And next thing you know, within 22 months, I'm married, I have 2 kids. So my boys have the same birthday, exactly a year apart.
Wow.
Both came premature. Like, it's just wild. It was literally just like boom, 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 boom.
Same birthday.
Same birthday, November 8th, just a year apart.
Wow.
That's expensive.
It's expensive. And it's just like, man, I'm like, I was joking with my parents the other day, like, an aneurysm is how I'm going out for sure. Like, that's going to be my thing, man. That's going to be my thing that takes me out. So that motivates you, right? That sets something, you know, in motion that I think a parent can really relate with, is because there was no other option.
Your
know?
back's against the wall.
Yeah, my wife was a stay-at-home mom. She did that for 8 years, and I was just building a business and trying to figure it out. But what I knew and what I could rely on was the output.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went back to growing up. I went back to the blue collar days. Went back to like just putting in the time and putting in the grind. And it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fun. But what was so rewarding from it is that I was doing it on my own terms. I was my own boss. And that alone, like, I talk to people all the time about being successful in a service industry, like whether it's real estate or insurance agents, is these type of careers give you enough rope to hang yourself with or to climb a mountain with.
Yeah.
True.
Because when you got all the free time, you know, you can spend it. I'm going to go network on the golf course. Yeah, I'd say that too.
Good luck.
Yeah. And then I never would. I'd network with the freaking...
It's a story. It's a story you tell yourself to justify whatever it is you're doing. But you know.
Yeah, you know.
Like, you know.
Yep. And so when I was young into the industry, I was constantly telling myself these lies that I was putting in the effort, you know? But then I was seeing the paychecks and stuff, and they weren't calculating, you know? They weren't computing. It was like, meh, you know? So that, and I think just internally, I'm pretty hard on myself in general, to just push myself. And it became an awakening moment where I felt like, man, I'm just really misaligned here.
Yeah.
You know, I say that I'm disciplined. I say that I'm motivated. I say that I can do this. And yeah, I mean, I'm doing that better than the average person. I'm surviving.
Yeah.
But man, I wasn't thriving at all.
So it's the accountability.
Really is.
Right? Like holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And so we've seen agents all the time that are scared to share their goals with their wives. Why? Because their wives are going to hold them accountable. Their wives are going to know, Jason, why aren't you doing this or this? Morgan, why aren't you doing this and this? And so then they're like, I'm just not going to tell them. And then if they don't know. And so, but I mean, everybody goes through that, you know what I mean? And they don't want that accountability.
It's a dangerous thing to play with though. Because that when you internalize it and that's how I describe success. Success to me is just simply maximizing my potential.
Right.
I mean, I could be a PE teacher. It doesn't really matter. Just maximizing my potential. And then I look at that as success.
Your output compounds your input. Absolutely. So whatever you put out there, it's going to come back tenfold. You know,
have you ever met anybody that works their ass off and nothing good happens?
Yeah, there's
not any that's consistent and that they do the right things.
Like something good will happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're working that hard and you're constantly consistent putting in an effort,
right,
the universe rewards you, man.
Yeah.
It could be meeting somebody that maybe you go to work for them or you partner up on a deal or like opportunity. I mean, I've just never met anybody in my life where they're working their tail off and nothing good happens for them. I've never seen it.
Right. And that's where opportunity knocks, right? As with hard work. And so when you're doing something, maybe you are working at this corporation and you're working your tail off and then you end up meeting somebody who's like, hey, check this out, you know? And we were talking about that, you know, somebody else that they just worked their way up And then another company is like, I see what you're doing over there.
Yeah.
Come over here, work with us.
Yep.
You know, what would it take you to come do that same thing over for us?
Well, I think you understand. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that's part of the reason why I like those little wins, right? I think those are so important because I think you're going to go down one of two paths for most people. I think you're going to set these little wins and realize you can you're accountable to yourself and you can keep your promises to yourself. And that exponentially will your confidence and everything else grow from that. And then it pushes you even more. Or you're not going to have those little wins. You're not going to have that. And you realize that, it doesn't matter if I don't keep those promises to myself, and you'll go down the other route.
Yeah.
And so I think those little wins, like you mentioned before, are so important to just keep you on point and to keep you realizing I need to keep my promises to myself. And I can because I've seen myself do it before. Yeah. And you have that confidence to move forward and to keep pushing forward that things are going to happen, even though it might be a year, 2 years down the road, not happen next month.
Yeah. I just don't think we're not wired for longevity. We're really like, if you think about just back in the day, like, you know, our ancestors, like you're hunting and gathering, right? Like you're looking for an immediate result. You're in survival mode. And I think this is why people have a hard time investing money. Like you can literally, everybody out there could be a millionaire in their life.
If they just invested 15% of what they earned.
Yeah. $100 a week, start at 18, millionaire by the time you're 50. What?
Yeah.
Like that's bananas. But then you have people that just will never do that because they can't see the long game.
Yep.
And when I was young, I couldn't see the long game either.
Buy the now, the impatient, just buy the now.
Yeah. I just went back to like when I was in high school, like, hey, like, what's the answer to this? I didn't apply myself. You know, I'd always ask the smart kids and get the answer. And then it kind of realized like the answers are everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
There's books on this. There's this and this and this and this. And it's like, if you want to cheat in life, just do what everybody else is doing. You think like we get so stuck on this moment that we're here now. It's like, man, there's billions of people before us. There's going to be billions of people after us. Yep. Like so, the blueprint, so to speak, is there. And you can literally just copy and paste what somebody's doing.
It's true.
Like everybody wants the microwave. Everybody wants the DoorDash delivered, the groceries delivered, and they want, you know, they're impatient. We're impatient. We want to buy the cars, the trucks, the toys now and not, you know, not wait. And that's where, you know, success really is just from hard work and patience. And it's that slow cooker. I mean, and then in the end is when you look back, you know, like there is trials, like you're not going to be able to avoid them. And like what you're saying, like life's going to kick you in the teeth. And the more that we try to hide from it and we don't try to set our kids up for some failures, you know, life's going to kick them in the teeth. It's just when and how many teeth are going to come out when it does. Right. And so, I mean, that's the biggest thing. You got to learn the risk side. You really got to learn the risk side to life. So what do you mean by that? I just don't. If you want to have something different, you have to do something different, which we hear all the time. But it's developing a risk tolerance because it's not going to be just given to you, you know? And that's really when it comes to like investing or starting a business, believing in yourself, like these risks that you're willing to take, sometimes you're forced to do them. Right. Like your back's up against the wall, like you're saying. But I really believe for me that there's an exercise to it. There's a blueprint to it. And you can mitigate the risk, right, with knowledge and wisdom and the copy and paste stuff we were just talking about. Right. Yeah. But I think that's the biggest thing that hold people back. The what if. Yeah. And to me, I look at it and I say, and really if I boil it down, like when people that know me, they're amazed by the risks that I take. I've worked on commission since I was 18 years old. Right. Like I haven't had this, you know, hey, you're worth this much per hour. That bothered the hell out of me. You're worth $14 an hour. Who says that? They're telling you what your value is.
That drives me crazy. We're not meant to do that. We're not meant to live in that rat race. So people want to get out of it. Well, it's like, well, you need to be taking a risk. What's crazy is that we're so blind to extreme risk every single day because it's habitual, but we won't go risk something for ourselves or our family, like maybe a side hustle or starting a new venture. Let me give you an example. Like think about just driving every single day. The risk to be on the road is crazy. And I come from the insurance world, so I'm getting the calls and seeing all the car accidents and all this stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're literally trusting like these speeding missiles, these live bullets every day, and you don't even think about it. It's so habitual. You just get in the car, you go to the gas station, you go to work, you go back and forth to home.
Yep.
Like the trust that I have in you that you're driving that freaking 5,000 pound car and you're 6 inches from me. Like you drive to Rigby when you're driving home tonight.
Right.
70, 80 miles an hour, and you're literally this close to each other.
Yeah.
That risk is so big. You'll put your kids in that risk. You'll put your wife in that risk. You'll put your grandma in that risk. But why is it that it's not, why isn't Earth, like, why aren't you shaking over that?
Right.
But hey, I want to go start a side hustle, or hey, I think I can make a career in real estate, or I want to do a fix and flip or something.
Right.
Man, that risk and that just contemplating, like you'll just talk yourself out of it.
I think it's just programming, don't you think?
But
like
why is it? Why is that such a big risk? But the daily stuff that we're doing,
right?
Or like going to Mexico and then you're just like, oh, this is safe food. You know, nothing against Mexico, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is like you'll just open a package at the grocery store and like, oh, this is good for me or whatever.
Right.
Do you think part of that is in their mind they're saying they're willing to do the effort, but they're really not? So, you know, the side hustle, the things like that, it's like, oh, back of their mind, subconscious, they're thinking that's going to be a lot of work.
I think it's.
I don't know if I want to
crisis.
do that work. I'm fairly comfortable right now. I don't know if I want to take that risk because that's going to be a lot of work. I know it's going to be more work than just on the surface. And so I don't want to put forth that effort to make that happen because I don't know if I really want to do that. It might mean I have to be away a few more nights a week or things like that. And I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice that for the reward.
But I think it's that, Jason, and I also think that it's the story. The story comes from someplace. Maybe it's our parents, or maybe it's, you know, whatever it may be. You know, I was the lucky sperm club that my dad was like, he's like, I've never had a job. I don't know. You know, I don't know what benefits are. And the benefit is we can do whatever we want. And I was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, I look at that and I'm super grateful for that, because there's a lot of people that they just do what their parents did and do what their parents did. And it kind of collapses that creativity. And so it's that comfort crisis of where they're like, I don't know. I couldn't do, like, my dad couldn't do it. My grandpa couldn't do it. Or, you know, I don't know anybody that has been able to do
and
that.
just what we were talking about, the willingness to take a risk, I think is what breaks that ceiling, right? I mean, we get into that and we think, okay, if I can just make a little more than my parents, right? Just to kind of keep up with inflation. My parents made whatever, 50 grand. If I can just make 100 grand, or they made 100, I just want to make 200. But then you hit that 200 and they never get past it because
that thermostat.
They limit themselves, right? And they're not willing, and they're there. So in their mind, they're like, well, I don't really need to take risks, or I'm not willing to put forth the effort to take risk because I don't need to get more.
Right.
And maybe more isn't the answer, but I mean, I think for a lot of people, the more, you know, you have to tie that to what does that do for you? What will that mean for your family? What would that mean for helping others, or helping others pull them along?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I think,
or generations after
money,
you,
they don't care, right?
Yeah. To set the example to show your kids of what's capable. There's a lot of people I talk to that I feel like are just more capable than I am.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, dude, you're running this, or you're doing this, like, you're way more capable than I am. What are you, like, what are we doing?
The difference though is that you've taken the risk.
Yeah.
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 Like I think about the real estate investing that you've done and the development stuff. Like that is a huge risk. Like if you were to say, hey, you know, so-and-so give me, you know, $1,000, like that's a huge risk for somebody. right?
Yeah.
But I always looked at it like this, is that I knew who I was, and I would just bet on myself. So I was like playing with house money. And the laws that govern us, I said that completely wrong again, is like you have a bankruptcy, right? There's a safety net for that. You can rebuild. Like I don't understand the monetary risks that people, why they're so conservative on certain things. I'm not saying go be reckless with your family and be like, hey, lost the house, honey. Sorry, the casino was, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you have a calculated risk and you actually believe in yourself that you can make it happen, then it's going to work out for you one way or the other. But what needs to happen is you start parlaying those successes, and then your risk tolerance becomes more. So now if I get an opportunity where it's like, hey, Justin, we want to, you want to join up on this, on this real estate development deal where it's going to be $150,000 on your end, or, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I can take that risk because one, I believe in the people that I'm doing it with. I'm educated enough to understand, but I know that it's still a risk, right? And so I would encourage any like young person or people just in general that are like, hey, I want to get a little bit more risky. Like do something small. Take $1,000 and go put it into like the S&P 500. Go buy a mutual fund.
Right.
Go buy some stocks that like a TJ Maxx stock or Target or like, Dutch Bros or wherever you go. Own a little piece of that company and just see that go up and down.
Right.
And that like, oh, this feels good. I just made $150 today. Or dang it, I just lost $100 today. Like for me, that helped me understand the long game.
Yeah.
I took a risk, I put skin in the game, and then I saw how it played out. And that really helped me a lot to just start getting more uncomfortable, but I wasn't risking much. It was like, oh, it's $1,000. I could lose it all, but
that's okay.
So
it's okay.
So one idea is kind of onto that. We wanted to buy a car, and we were having our third child, and we wanted something a little bit bigger. And my dad, I've always thought this was a really good idea. He'd say, okay, to see if you can afford it for 6 months, what's your car payment? Say $600. I want you to put that $600 into a mutual fund, an index fund, because you're going to get it back. But it's leaving your account, and now you're having to budget without it, right?
You're feeling that pain of the money leaving.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, I often even try to do that. Now it's a lot different, but it's something that I teach people, or different things like that. Like move without that money and to see if you can do it. Because a lot of times I'm like, third kid, need an extra car. We're going to do it. Mm-hmm. And you do it before you know of really what would happen.
That's almost the Dave Ramsey model, right? He just says to do it, but you do it for 2-3 years and you can just go pay cash for the car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
You know what I mean? That's almost that. But something you said actually kind of hit me as well, is that it's almost the Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger. You said, you got to make sure you trust the people. Make sure you're in business with people that you trust and you know, and that. And I think he always Charlie Munger had said multiple times is, hey, if you have an unbelievable product and okay people, never invest in that. He says, but if you have unbelievable people and just an average product, I'll invest in that all day long.
Yeah.
Because it's the people that you're going to attach yourself to is really what's going to create the difference. Mm-hmm. It's not the product or the service. I mean, we have these ideas of these amazing products and services, and people want to jump on it and jump on that deal or this transaction or that. And it's like, okay, who are the people you're getting in business with? And that's what's important. And you mentioned that, and I thought, that's really essential, right? I mean, you want to make sure that you want to take those risks, but you want to make sure that you're taking those risks with people that you can rely on, that you can trust.
Mm-hmm. But also, I love that you said too, is take a risk early. I mean, it's a lot easier to take a risk before you have the kids, before you have the mortgage, before you have all of those expensive things. And that's where some of, these amazing people, I'm like, why don't you do it? And they're like, dude, I can't go 6 months without an inconsistent, paycheck. Like just that part just cripples most,
right?
It does. So, I think those 9 to 5, I don't know. It's just, I always look at it as there's no way I could go work for somebody, I've done this for so long with multiple businesses that the freedom that I have, I would rather make 80 grand a year and be able to have the freedom to come and go, the autonomy of it, over you pay me 80 grand to go work a 9 to 5 and somebody tell me this is how much you're worth and just kind of pushing me around all day, not letting me be creative or letting me, like, my success for me, I've felt so successful in my life because I've never missed a kid's doctor appointment. I never missed a kid's game. I've coached all my kids in every sport that they've done.
Right.
I've been there. So like those things I wanted desperately in my life. And so I had to create a life that allowed me to have that autonomy to do it. And if that means making less money, so be it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because to me, success isn't monetary to me.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
that's most people when it comes right down to it, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to ask, can you get off 30 minutes early to go to a special dinner for an occasion? You don't have to, can I want to take my family on a trip. When can I leave? When do you expect me back?
You know how awesome it is to like sleep in as an adult sometimes? You know what I mean? To go to the gym at 10 p.m., not or 10 a.m., not 5 a.m. because I have to be there before I can get to my 8 o'clock job. Or to like just take off the afternoon. Like, man, I feel like going fishing this afternoon. I'm going to go enjoy nature. I think if I'm coaching anybody is like set up a life where you can enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't work so hard on building other people's dreams to where you're just so burnt out. Cause I don't think we're created that way at all. I don't think we're wired that way. We have these golden handcuffs with these corporate jobs and, hey, we're going to pay 120 grand a year and you got your 401k and you got this and this and this. It's like, dude, I will replace you tomorrow. That's not security. It's this false security that you feel like you can't get away from.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's the Warren Buffett thing too, is,
Who's Warren Buffett?
He talks about, something to the sense of, I'm going to butcher this, but people think it's too risky to go build a business, for 6 months to a year, but they'll spend 40 years working for somebody else.
Yeah.
And
but
that's
how much
to me,
stress it causes you to live. Like I've lived and, trying to make bills at the end of the month. When I first started back to like when I got into this business and I had the pressure of the kids and stuff, I mean, I had a car repoed. I had all these medical bills from pregnancies. I didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to do a medical bankruptcy. Like my life for 3 years was just complete hell. But at the same time, I'm building, like I just started getting that snowball going down the hill. And I knew it's just like, I just got to go. And forever I would keep those things a secret because I always wanted to portray that I was like successful. Thing is that I was young and dumb and naive. I wasn't quite comfortable in my skin.
Yeah.
I'm 25 years old. I'm still trying to kind of figure this out. And there's just the intense of having children and stuff, like we all reckon as men and being providers and protectors, like that's a ginormous responsibility. And it sits with you day in and day out. It takes up a big space in our head of like showing up for our family.
Yeah.
And so for me, my back was up against the wall and then I kept going and it just freaking whoop, just took off like a rocket. Like there's just that moment in your life where that momentum and that stride just hits perfect and it just goes boom. But if I wouldn't have fought through the adversity, I could have just melded in. Could have went and worked, no offense, but I could have went and took a INL job. You know what I mean? Hey, government, pay me for not doing much.
Yeah.
And it's safe.
right.
Yeah.
It's safe. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but I don't ever go fishing in the afternoon with those guys. I don't ever go golfing with those guys. I don't see those guys coaching their kids or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking for everybody that works out there, obviously, but it's just like, for me, I needed that freedom and it's intense. Like it's not for everybody, but I applaud you guys for like, this is a huge risk. Having a brokerage and then agents and stuff like that, it's not like it's not like a corporation's cutting you a check of like, hey, thanks for your 40 hours, Jason. This is great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like things need to happen and fall in place for you guys. So, and it's not for everybody, but the cool thing is like just watching you guys do that is like, you can either be working for the people that take a risk or you can be the one that takes the risk and have people working for you. and have the autonomy, right? Like everything's going to be a little bit stressful.
I think sometimes the sweet spot is to be an agent working for the people, taking all the risk.
Yeah, because they're taking some risk.
They're taking
but not
some
all the
risk. That's what we laugh sometimes. There was a couple of people that came and were like, dude, you made more than us this month. You made more than us this quarter. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Maybe I don't want any more. But well, shoot, Justin, I feel like we're going to have you back for a part 2 and get to know more of this stuff. I mean, it's such a great discussion, and I love you sharing, just being vulnerable and life lessons and things like that. I know that a lot of times we don't want to admit what really works. And I don't know why that is. Like, I think about it and it's all truths, but
it's like everyone wants to reinvent the wheel, and it's like
everyone just wants everyone to see the success, right? Like you think of all the social media out there, it's just like, hey, look at me, look where I'm at.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not even really there. But a lot of times when they are there, it's like they didn't see the 10 years that it took to get there. All they see is, oh, look, they're there, and they think they're there instantly.
Right.
And so I think some people don't want to put in the time and the effort and the daily to get to where they need to be.
Yeah. Amen to that.
We when I'm sure I've shared this on here before, but I was in St. George and I was broke as a joke, and I was visiting with Tommy, a kid we went to school with, and we were talking about different things, and I don't even know what we got talking about, and he just, what you just said and what we've talked about, he says, Morgan, he's like, PD, if you just work super hard, you will make money. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I was thought, you got to gauge like how hard is hard, and and what is that. But I think about that all the time, and I just like, dude, when in doubt, if you just work hard, you will make money. And it's the stupidest thing that clicked, but it's one of the defining.
I've never met anybody in my life, that works hard that doesn't have what they're going for. You know what I mean? Like good things happen, money comes in, they have a good family or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like applying yourself is a huge thing, and for me, like being a Christian, I realized that like, do not be afraid is said, is like over 100 times in the Bible. And I just like all these things that hold us back. It's like anxiety and discomfort and risk. And it's like, that is prevalent everywhere in our daily life. Yeah. So why wouldn't you want to just be the driver of that?
Right.
Why would you want to sit passenger? Why would you want to, you know what I mean? What I found in my life though, with people and hiring people to training people to whatever is like, you got the tractors and you have the trailers, the tractors will go on with themselves, but they're just pulling the trailers along. The trailers need to have somebody driving them, and that's okay too. But you're kind of slotted in different positions and what your success would be, And so I don't know. I think this whole idea of, risk and scarcity and this and that, it's like, man, if you fall on your face, think about the support group that would be there to pick you up in a heartbeat.
I love that. It's true.
And so it makes it's like we got these life jackets on that we don't even see every day. Right. So take the risk.
Yeah.
You can always go get the 9 to 5. You can always go get the income that's coming in. But what you can't do is just have somebody convince you to do something else. Like you got to internalize that and go get it yourself. And I think you leave a bigger impact on people. You know what I mean? Like a bigger impact on people when you're working in some sort of service industry or whatever, the relationships and stuff. And I mean, man, that stuff is just priceless. Yeah.
So
those relationships are priceless.
Before we sign off, if you could tell and you've probably touched that at all, but if you could tell your younger 23, 25-year-old self something, what piece of advice would you give before we bounce off?
That's a good question. I would say probably learn to become more disciplined than motivated. I didn't realize that until I was older. the discrepancy and like the difference, the contrast between discipline and motivation.
Right.
I lumped them all together for some reason. And it wasn't until, I mean, I'm great at getting motivated. I'm so good at that. There's stuff that I'll see, like this motivates me right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I could walk out of here and do nothing.
Yeah.
Well, motivation kind of lapses, right? True motivation, I think, comes from discipline. You have the discipline, and then you see the result, and that makes you do it more.
More action.
Right? More action. But I think the individual, like the motivation, like hearing someone speak or a podcast or something like that, that motivation is pretty fleeting. I think the true deep down motivation that gets you going is when you've had the discipline to do something and you see it happen, and then you're like, okay, if I just do it again and do it again and do it a little bit more and a little bit this way, and then that motivation kind of snowballs.
Yeah.
It's the momentum.
Motivation, well, I kind of look at it as motivation is setting the alarm clock for 5 a.m. Discipline's getting up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the idea's there. Oh, this 5 a.m. is going to be awesome. But man, when it rings, there's discipline to get you up out of that bed.
Yeah.
And that for me, I wish I could have internalized that and figured that out earlier on in life and be more disciplined. Because every challenge that it's kind of weird if you think about this. Like, think about all the things that are hard to do or not fun to do are the things that actually make you, like, actually grow you as a person.
It's in everything.
Like, every single thing.
The things that you want to give up, whether it's in your life or the bad habits, that's what's going to make you healthier or happier or, you know,
like, I think that's your compass. Like, hey, where do I go? How do I do this? Listen to what is difficult for you. That's where you need to go.
Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's so true. Because the things that you don't want to, there's this quote that I love. That's something like, if you can't fast from it, you're a slave to it. And so, you know, fasting is all over in biblical teachings and how important fasting is. But a lot of times people just want to say fasting is like a food thing.
Right.
I don't believe that at all. I think fasting, what it's saying there is that you need to be fasting from these, fasting from this, fasting from something being monetary to you.
Right.
You know?
So you're not
that
comfort or the idleness of just going with the flow, taking whatever it is.
I think that's what happens, man. I think it's such a trap that everybody falls into. Some stay in that trap longer than others.
Yeah.
But the way that it's set up is that we look for those cushy things just to kind of tie a knot on this conversation. You know, if you want to have the Amazon type life and the DoorDash life and all that, the convenience, good luck.
Right.
Good luck. You're not going to build a legacy with your kids with that. You're not going to teach anything there, because there will be a time that it's going to crash. And there's going to be a time where, you know, those that have weathered the storm and stayed strong are going to be the ones that are going to be left to kind of like take care of everybody else. I'd rather be that.
I love it, man. Well, we're going to have you back on to get into, dive into some more stuff. So I appreciate you,
Thanks
man.
for having me on, guys.
You betcha.
Appreciate what you're doing.